Hi, Danielle.
And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Ambassadors Theater Lab 39. We are very excited to have everyone here. My name is David Adam Gill. I'm the artistic director for New Ambassadors. I'm also a playwright and an actor tonight. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our host for the evening, Maile Binion, my dear friend. Go for it, Maile.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Maile Binion. I am a company member and an executive board member here with New Ambassadors. If this is your first time with us, New Ambassadors is a 501c3 nonprofit company based in Manhattan. That means any donation you make is tax deductible. And so if you want to give us money, we would greatly appreciate it. We will go into more detail on YouTube and throughout the night about all of the ways you can donate to us. We're going to be raising money for our next festival, Blurring Boundaries, which again, I will go into a little bit later. This is our Lab 39. Our lab program is a reading series for new and in-process works. We're going to be reading 3 plays tonight, which is very exciting, all by incredible playwrights, John Austin Wiggins, John Pena Griswold, and our very own David Adam Gill.
We're all our very own. We're all our very own.
We all are very own, but you were just speaking. Thought it was a nice touch. So after they read our plays, we do feedback. Everyone who is live in our Zoom will be a part of our feedback session. And for those of you who are watching on YouTube, we will have a Google form for you with the same questions, so you can also give feedback. Please, please, please give feedback. Our playwrights love it. They need it. They use it. Our feedback typically involves popcorn moments, things that stood out to you, popped, questions you may have had or moments you have dropped out, things that you want to see more of or you'd like to see more developed. And then the writers may also ask you to look out for specific things depending where they are in the process. So all of that being said, I think we are ready to get started. If you would like to be involved in the company or in future labs, we will put links to sign up as both a writer and an actor for our future labs. We love to get new people involved with the company, so please, please, please sign up. Okay, now I think we are ready to get started. So anyone who is not going to be in the first piece, please mute yourself and take yourself off of video. I'm going to introduce John Austin Wiggins first, who will introduce his wonderful cast. Thank you and enjoy.
Thank you, Maile. And thank you, David and Maile. It's wonderful to be back here again with you all. So I'm presenting 2 scenes from the play I'm working on called Disclosures. The scene is between between Santino, being played by Guillermo Ivan, and his aunt Rosita, played by Daniela Tomei. The stage directions are being read by Aaron Mogan. Did I say that right? Mohan, sorry. Excuse me. And in a previous scene, just very shortly, Santino has returned to visit Rosita for the first time in 16 years. He ran away from, he had been living with her after his mother died, and he ran away 16 years ago. And just yesterday he came and looked her up again. So take it away, y'all, and we'll see you on the other side. Thank you so much, everyone.
Disclosures by John Austin Wiggins. Scene 3, outside Rosita's house in College Point, Queens, early evening. Santino Soledad sits on the steps of Rosita's house. He has been waiting for a while. After a few moments, he looks at his watch, gets up, and starts to leave. Rosita Alvarez enters from down left, pushing a small cart with grocery bags. She spots Santino.
Santino, where are you going?
To work. Where were you, Tia? We're supposed to meet at 5.
What time is it now?
Almost 6:30.
I had to shop for dinner, and then I stopped at St. Fidelis to tell Father Roberto that
I
you...
tried calling you.
My battery died. Why didn't you wait inside?
I forgot the key you gave me.
Silly boy, it's on your key ring where you put it.
It is?
Yes. Look and see.
Santino pulls out his keys, starts looking through them.
So many keys. That one.
Yes. This one. Yeah. Gotta be honest with you, Aunt Rosie. Freaks me out to go into an empty house.
It's not like it's a stranger's house. You used to live here.
It started here. Second time he tried to molest me. I thought the house was empty, but he was sitting in my room, naked.
I didn't know.
I still have nightmares about being trapped in there with him.
But you're safe here now, Santino.
It might take a little time for me to get used to that.
Take all the time you need. I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you for understanding.
You may find it hard to believe, but I have actually forgiven Miguel.
After all he put us through, for me, forgiveness is not an option.
It took a long time and a lot of prayer, but eventually, with the help of Mother Mary and the saints, I released my anger.
Mother Mary and the Saints? Is that a girl band?
What? Ah, very funny. Ha ha ha.
No, seriously though. I'm glad you found some peace with it all.
The main thing was that I made peace with myself, Santino.
I'm good with myself.
If you ever want to talk to someone, Father Roberto at St. Fidelis is very...
Thanks, but church is not my scene.
He's a good human being and close to your age. You might find you have a lot in common.
Tia, are you playing matchmaker?
He's a priest, Santino. Come, I'll make dinner.
No, I can't. I'm going to be late.
Fine. Then go.
There is something I need to ask you first, Tia. It's about Mama.
Well, make it quick. You're in a hurry, right?
Come on, Tia. You remember how Mama loved the Brooklyn Bridge?
God rest her soul. She took you there almost every weekend, didn't she?
Yes. This morning, I remembered the guy we were running into sometimes. I have forgotten all about him.
What made you remember him?
A smile in a photo.
Just a smile.
It was an unforgettable smile, Rosie.
Where did you see the photo?
At some guy's apartment.
Someone you met by the river?
No, I haven't.
Haven't what?
I haven't done that in a long time.
Done what?
He wasn't a trick, okay? Jesus, come on.
Watch your mouth! What's a trick?
The guy had fallen in the subway and hit his head. I helped him get home.
And the guy in the photo was a friend of this man.
His husband or partner, from the looks of it.
I'm still not used to two men calling each other husband.
You better get used to it. It's legal now.
Don't get defensive, Santino. I'm not against it. It's just no. This man with the smile, does he have a name?
Luke. Sound familiar?
Luke. I don't know. Wait. Luke is a nickname for Luciano, yes?
I guess it could be.
Big smile, you said? Yes, I know the snake.
Snake?
Lowest of the low, he treated your mama very bad.
What did he do to her?
Your mama never told you.
Told me what?
I can't tell you.
Oh, Tia, don't play games.
I'm quite serious. Your mama made me promise never to discuss Luciano with you.
Why? He didn't seem like a snake to me. He and Mama always seemed happy to see each other.
Hey, we're probably just putting on a show for you.
Why would they do that? Rosita Soledad Alvarez, tell me what's going on.
I can't talk about him, Santino. I made a promise to my sister on her deathbed.
Tia Rosita, if you don't tell me, I swear I will walk away right now and never come back.
No, Santino. Please. I couldn't bear losing you again.
Well, then tell me what this is all about. Now.
Rosita looks at him. After a long moment, she crosses herself.
Perdóname. Querida hermana, perdóname.
Tia.
Okay. I'll tell you, okay. Your father left.
Wait.
Luciano, he left your mother.
Luciano?
Stop interrupting me, Santino.
My father?
Dios mío. Santino, your mama never told you who your father was.
Oh, all she ever told me was my father left before I was born.
Well, that part is true. He got her pregnant and left.
You sure it's the same guy?
Oh, yes. They were best friends in high school. When she got pregnant the summer after graduation, she told me that Luciano was the father, but swore me to secrecy. You sure she never told you?
I do think I remember her saying he was a high school friend. But that's all.
Your mama was so bullheaded sometimes.
She was stubborn, for sure. But a snake or not, hiding my father from me does make sense.
When she got sick, I begged her to tell you many times.
Why didn't you tell me, Tia?
I told you. I made a sacred vow to my sister, Santino.
To hell with the vow! She was leaving me an orphan.
It's a sin to break a sacred vow.
Well, I'm sure if you had said enough Hail Marys, you would have been forgiven.
Don't mock my religion.
You're just as stubborn as she was. Why would she hide this from me? He seemed like a nice guy. He would carry me on his shoulders and buy me ice cream.
Maybe he felt guilty.
I don't remember getting a father vibe from him.
I'm not surprised. People like him don't take that responsibility seriously.
People like him?
Gay men.
Wait. You're okay with two men being married, but think gay men can be parents.
Children shouldn't be exposed to that lifestyle. Look what happened to you.
Whoa, Tia. Homosexuality isn't contagious. And Miguel was a pedophile, not gay. He would have tried the same thing if I was a girl.
Thank you, Mr. Psychiatrist. I wasn't talking about Miguel.
Then who?
Luciano. He was gay. You're gay.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Yeah. You think it's hereditary, right?
It could be.
A gay gene. Maybe Mama had the gene too.
Rosita grabs his cheeks with one hand and squeezes them together.
Don't talk about your mother like that.
Tia, I was kidding. Let go.
She releases him.
That brings back memories.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't being disrespectful, Tia. Do you remember Mama having any boyfriends?
Not really. She had a serious crush on Luciano, though. He was the only boy she ever talked about. Did he ever reach out to you after your mama died?
Even if he wanted to. I was in the wind. Did he ever contact you?
No. But if he were a responsible person, he would have. That's all I meant before.
Who's to say? Maybe my life might have been different, very different if I had a father, especially a gay father. Especially a gay father. I wish I could talk to him. I have so many questions.
So reach out. Get his number from his boyfriend. Maybe he'd see you now that you're a mature adult.
That will be a little difficult. Looks dead.
My poor boy. And what's to be done?
Or maybe one of your saints could leave a message for him.
Maybe. I'll go to St. Fidelis the first thing.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Oh. You could talk to Luke's boyfriend. What's his name?
Stuart. That's a good idea, Tia. I'll go see him tomorrow.
No gay stuff. Okay?
Tia.
I was being sarcastic. I pray you get some answers.
Santino's phone buzzes. He reads, then types a text.
Everything okay?
All's well. My meetings were scheduled for tomorrow.
Does that mean you stay for a while?
Yep.
Wonderful. Come inside. I'll make you such a delicious dinner.
Rosita opens the door for him. Santino hesitates.
Do you want me to go in first? Make sure it's safe.
No. It's okay. I'm okay. Let's go. Will you make arepas? I haven't had them in ages.
He goes in.
I will make you the best arepas you've ever had.
She goes in. Fade to black. Scene 6, outside Rosita's house the next morning. Santino sits on the steps, waiting. After a few moments, Rosita appears, returning home with her shopping cart.
Santino, did you tell me you were coming today?
I thought I would surprise you.
You should have let me know. I would have gotten empanadas from Manny's.
We'll go later and have them hot from the fryer. My treat. Come sit. Tell me more about my father.
I've told you everything I know.
I went to see Stuart this morning.
Who?
Like you suggested.
Who? Who is this?
Luke's boyfriend? It didn't go well.
What happened?
I asked if Luke ever mentioned a girlfriend.
Santino, I told you yesterday he and your mama were best friends. They never dated.
But maybe they had a secret relationship. He could have told Stuart about it.
If it were secret, why would he tell Stuart?
Don't couples know everything about each other?
Not always.
I told Stuart that Luke and my mom slept together and that I was the result. He wouldn't believe me because the only proof I had was your word.
Yeah. Why on earth would he believe a stranger's tia?
He said the same thing in so many words. But now he thinks I heard about Luke's death, and I'm trying to scam him.
Scam him? How?
By pretending to be his son to get my hands on his money.
Is that what you're doing?
No. Oh, why would you say something like that?
You told me yesterday that you used to pull scams with your merry band of runaways.
That was a long time ago, Tia.
Old habits die hard.
So you also think I'm hustling him?
Honestly, Santino, I don't know what to think. You came here yesterday all worked up about some guy's smile in a photo.
He was Ma's friend. I recognized him.
No, you said the photo reminded you of him. Then you started fishing for a name and...
I wasn't fishing. I told you his name.
No, you told me a name that just happened to be similar to your father's name. Maybe you got lucky. Or did you do your research?
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Maybe your mama did tell you your father's name and you heard about his death and saw an opportunity.
Oh, you have been watching too many telenovelas.
Maybe the snake doesn't fall far from the tree.
Whoa! You really think that? Tia, Mama never told me my father's name. I wouldn't lie about something like that. I'm not a snake, Tia. Fine. Believe what you want. But I'm not scamming anyone.
Santino starts to walk away.
Okay. I believe you.
Thank you.
They are both silent for a long moment. Santino studies Rosita.
What's bothering you, Tia?
Nothing.
In my experience, when people start imagining bad things about the people they love, it's often because they feel disrespected in some way.
You love playing the shrink, don't you?
Well, I have lots of practical experience.
Okay, Santino, if you really want to know, you're taking advantage of me.
Really? How?
First, answer me this. Why are you here?
To see you, Tia.
Well, you've seen me. You can go now if you want.
Are you okay?
You tell me, Mr. Know-it-all. How am I?
Maybe a little loca today.
Not funny.
You are okay, I guess.
Exactly. You guess. But how would you know that, Santino? A stranger on the street told you?
What are you talking about?
You never asked me how I was, Santino.
Yes, I did.
And what did I say?
You said you were, you said, you're right, Tia. Yeah. I'm sorry. So how are you?
Right now, not so good.
Well, tell me more. You have my full attention.
I feel I don't know who you are, Santino. The man in front of me is very different from the boy I knew 16 years ago.
We're both different than we were back then.
I just miss my little Santino.
I'm back now. We'll have lots of time to get reacquainted.
Really? You always seem to have somewhere else to be.
Oh, come on. We had dinner together yesterday.
Only because your appointment was rescheduled.
Which wouldn't have even mattered if you had been here at 5 instead of 6:30.
Your appointment was changed to today, as I remember. So once you get what you want from me today, you'll take off. Am I right?
Conceding, Santino sighs.
I rest my case.
Yes. I wanted to hear about Mama and Luke. And yes, I have other commitments.
The point is, you used me.
Oh, you're overreacting.
I'm not. Let's be clear. You came for information, not me. I gladly told you everything I knew except what I vowed not to. You then gave me un ultimatum.
Only because you were being stubborn about the sacred vow thing.
Maybe you don't take that thing seriously, but I do. And you should have respected that. But instead you forced me to choose between telling you or losing you again.
Don't you think it's important for me to know who my father was?
The point is you bullied me. What's worse, I was weak and let you.
You're not weak, Tia. Look at all you have been through, especially that awful bullshit with Miguel. You're the strongest woman I know.
I'm strong. I am strong now. But for most of my life, I looked to others to be strong for me. My parents, your mama, Miguel, even you, Santino. One by one, you each left until I was absolutely alone. That was a very dark time for me.
Loneliness was hard for me too.
I wonder what had I done to deserve such utter isolation. I thought about you every day out there alone. I didn't even know if you were dead or alive.
I should have told you that I was okay.
No, you were right to disappear. I understand that now. And believe it or not, you helped me get through that time.
I did?
When I saw you by the river that day, saw that you were alive and not alone, I understood not only the courage it took to leave like you did, but also the inner strength you had to survive. It inspired me to find my own Santino.
Everyone has survival instinct, but tapping into it isn't easy. Fortunately, there were people who always seemed to appear when I really needed help.
For me, it was Father Roberto.
So you found your strength in God.
No. I was pretty bitter towards religion at the time. I even stopped going to Mass.
No Mass Misa? You?
It's true.
Then how did Father Robert help?
I didn't know him. He came to St. Fidelis after I stopped going. And one day, I was sitting on the steps. I had been crying a little. Father Roberto stopped by. He passed by and saw me and asked if I was okay. His eyes were very kind. He sat with me for a long time and just listened.
You go back to Mass after that?
No, I didn't even know he was a priest.
His collar didn't clue you in?
He wasn't wearing one. He was dressed like a normal guy, and he said his name was just Roberto. In fact, he stopped by 3 more times before he told me.
You must have been surprised.
I am very embarrassed.
Embarrassed? Why would you? Oh no, Tia! Don't tell me you flirted with him.
What would you do if a good-looking man kept stopping by to see you?
I would have flirted the first time he stopped.
Ah, you have more experience with these things. It had been a long time since I had flirted with anyone.
How did he react?
Oh, he apologized for misleading me and told me who he really was. I was mortified, but he was very kind. He said he didn't like to wear his collar outside of the church. People would act different when he wore it, and he wanted them to feel comfortable with him.
He sounds pretty progressive.
More than most people know. He's gay.
What? He told you that?
After seeing you by the river that day, I was scared you were gay, which meant you were evil and would burn in hell. At least that's what I believed at the time. So I talked to him about it.
And he told you he was gay.
Not right away. I wouldn't have reacted well. But over time, he helped me understand that even gay people are children of God, made in God's image and worthy of love. After my attitude changed and my heart opened up, he told me. I was scandalized. But really, I think I knew already, and it didn't matter.
I'm glad he was there for you, Tia.
Roberto's been so good to me, without expecting anything in return. It wasn't an easy road. I truly thought I'd never see you again. Now here you are, a strong, handsome young man with appointments.
Oh, Tia.
I'm teasing you, Santino. For someone who's been out on the streets, your skin's not very thick.
I guess I still have a soft spot for you.
Now you're teasing me. With that smile, it's no wonder you have so many appointments.
Tia, stop.
Just be careful with your heart, dear one.
I always am. Tia, about the appointments.
Santino, give me some credit. You told me last night that you and your friends hustled down by the river. Wasn't hard to imagine that you had worked yourself up to appointments.
And you're okay with it?
It's your life to live as you want, Santino.
You surprised me, Tia.
And you, me. I have something important to tell you, Santino. I'm releasing you.
Releasing me?
I'm letting you go.
It sounds like you're breaking up with me.
No. I'm releasing my expectations about how you live your life. I'll be honest, I may not agree with certain aspects of what you do, some of the choices you made, but you are a child of God. And I'm not going to judge or disrespect you for them. Except for a little teasing now and then.
Are you asking me to give you space?
Not at all. You come visit me anytime. Just please come to really visit, not because you want something. Deal?
I guess so. This feels so, I don't know, conditional.
It's really just the opposite, my dear boy. You'll always find open arms and an open heart here for you. For now, it's important for you to find out more about your father and to go wherever that leads you. Which reminds me, before you run off.
Rosita goes into the house and returns momentarily, holding a couple of photos in one hand and an envelope in the other.
After you left last night, I pulled out a box of your mother's things that I've been keeping. I found these.
She hands the photos to Santino.
Luciano. Is that the same guy you saw in the other photos?
Yes, that's him.
I also found this. Has your name on it. Your mama wanted me to give this to you when you turned 18, but you were gone many years by then, and I had forgotten all about it.
What's in it?
I don't know. I promised not to read it, and you know how I feel about promises.
Thank you, Tia, Rosie. So I guess I will see you sooner or later.
Sooner, I hope. But call first so I can make you a nice dinner.
I will. I promise.
Is that a sacred vow?
I guess.
Rosita takes his face in her hands.
I love you, Santino.
I love you too, Tia.
Rosita hugs him, then turns and goes up the steps and into the house. Santino watches her go in, then starts to walk away. He then stops, opens the envelope, takes out the letter, and starts to read as he slowly walks off. As the lights fade, Rosita can be seen peeking through the windows, watching him as he goes. Blackout, end of excerpt.
Hey.
Great job, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, John Austin Wiggins. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Daniela. And thank you, Aaron, for our wonderful stage directions. So we went a little bit over time, but I'm still going to leave 5 minutes for, I think what I'm going to do is, John, is there anything that you are specifically looking for since we only have 5 minutes before we start feedback?
I had nothing specific.
Okay.
I was just really wanted to hear the scenes, and I'm most curious about the relationship arc, and if people felt there was if the arc was kind of clear even without the first scene being read.
Great. Well, we'll start. And if you guys don't mind, I'll just jump in really quickly. I thought the relationship was very clear, and I thought the arc was really nice. I especially loved the relationship in the final scene. Thought it was very heartwarming, and it was unexpected. I didn't expect it to actually take that trajectory, and I thought it was nice. Yeah. But now I will open up. Anyone else? Yes, Mandy.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was missing a first scene. I actually kind of thought that was the whole play. Or it could be, obviously. I thought it could have been.
Great, thanks.
Anyone else? Torian, yes.
What's in the letter?
The
I
letter-
need to know.
You'll have to see the play. There's another scene where the contents of the letter are revealed.
Or you can go to YouTube and watch one of the previous
that's
labs,
right.
which has that scene in
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely drawn in from top to bottom. I loved it.
Oh, thanks, Tori. Good. I have to say, I'm just thrilled by what Daniela and Guillermo brought to the roles tonight. Yeah. I couldn't have asked for anything more. So I appreciate you both so much. You really fell into the relationship, and it was just beyond my expectations. So thank you so much. I'm thrilled.
Great. Well, if there is no one else, please correct me if I'm missing a hand. But if there is no one else, just a reminder for everyone watching on YouTube, you can fill out as much feedback as you want. We will have a feedback form that will be shared on YouTube, and Ben will share our feedback form on Zoom for anyone else who thinks of something after we move on and wants to add it. Please share. And thank you again. Great cast, great work, everyone. It was very moving. So, next up, we have The Entertainer by John Pena Griswold, and I will hand it over to John, who will introduce his lovely cast.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. This piece, The Entertainer, is a short one act, so totally self-contained, so not much intro needed. We have playing the role of Jake, our lovely David Adam Gill. And playing Mike, we have Torian Brackett. And stage directions are Aaron Mohan-Smith. All right, take it away, friends.
And Guillermo, if you could turn your camera off, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome. The Entertainer, written by John Pena Griswold. Living room, daytime. A table in the back is set up for a children's birthday party. There's a corner for gifts. Jake bustles around adjusting the matching Paw Patrol settings on the table. The doorbell rings. Jake takes one last moment to adjust a Paw Patrol piñata, then answers the door.
Hi,
Hello.
Carson's birthday party?
Yes, come in. I'm Jake, Carson's father.
Mike, good to meet you.
They share a hearty handshake. Mike comes in. Jake looks past Mike, searching the doorstep briefly.
Am I late?
No, not at all. Kids are still trickling in.
Oh, lovely. Where are they?
Out back.
Great. Well, I guess I should head back there.
Where's yours?
My kid?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, at home.
Oh. Is your wife bringing him or?
I'm unmarried.
Oh, sorry.
Don't be.
I shouldn't have assumed.
It's nothing.
I'm sorry.
It's seriously nothing. Don't worry about it.
Is your kid coming later?
No, I don't think he was invited.
Oh.
Where should I put my coat?
Sorry. What's your kid's name?
Brandon. Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
Nothing. I don't recognize the name.
Oh, well, I'm sorry, but I don't think you know him.
No, sure. Right.
So I'll just head back, I guess.
Sorry. I'm terribly sorry. I just can't let. What's your relationship to my son?
Oh, nothing. We haven't met yet.
Okay.
Until today. Then we'll be fast friends, I'm sure.
Well, no, you will not.
Excuse me?
You're not going to be fast friends with my son.
I'm sorry, but that's my job.
Oh, wait, Mike. Oh, shoot, Mike. You're the clown.
Entertainer.
Right, entertainer. Oh gosh, Mike. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be.
No, I'm an idiot. Yes, of course. I'm sorry. Sarah mentioned she hired. I just assumed you'd. I thought you'd look more clownish.
Well, I'm an entertainer. Yeah.
Right. Yes, you said. Sorry.
No worries. So I'll just head back.
Are you gonna get dressed?
I know, I'm okay.
You're going as that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Do you need help with your equipment?
No equipment.
No equipment?
Nope.
No guitar or
Oh God, no, I can't carry a tune.
Right. Me neither.
Right, yeah.
So what do you do to the what's your
What?
how do you entertain the kids?
Oh, yes. Well, that's a bit of a trade secret.
Mike taps his nose twice and walks towards the back door. Jake stops him.
I'm sorry. No. What was that?
You're asking me how I entertain them, the kids?
Yes, a pretty standard question, Mike.
Well, I mean, if I told you that, you wouldn't need me.
Excuse me?
If I told you how to entertain a group of kids at a party, sans entertainer, I'd be out of a job, no? You could just do it yourself.
I'm not a clown, Mike.
Neither am I, Jake.
Right.
Yeah. So I'll just...
I'm sorry.
Jake moves in his path again.
Jake, is there a problem?
Yes, Mike. I don't know you from Adam. You're a grown man planning to be around my kid on his birthday.
Right, but shall I remind you, that's just what you've hired me to do.
My wife hired you.
Yes.
Expecting a clown.
Well, I'm not billed as a clown, so I don't really see how that's on me.
I just... Can you give me a sense of your act?
Act?
Yes, what's your act?
I don't have an act.
What do you mean you don't have an act? You're a performer.
I'm an entertainer.
Same fucking... Sorry. Can you just tell me what you're going to do back there?
I'm not really sure what you're angling at here.
What's the shtick? What's the gimmick?
Are you trying to be insulting?
What do you do with the children?
I talk to them.
You talk to them.
Yes.
Just make conversation.
Yes. They're people, Jake.
Don't they're people, Jake, me. I know they're people. But you don't hire someone to talk with your kid. You hire a clown to clown.
And you hire an entertainer to entertain.
How is conversation entertaining?
I happen to be very engaging.
Really? Because I'm finding this conversation rather forced.
Well, luckily the children rarely interrogate me on my credentials.
Look, I'm sorry if I've been curt. A parent can never be too careful.
Sure, yeah.
Sarah said you come highly recommended.
My reputation precedes me.
You did the Johnson's kid party last week.
Yeah.
I heard it went well.
Without a hitch.
Okay.
Okay. Can I go mingle?
Could you please wear makeup?
Excuse me?
Can you just, put on some makeup or wear big shoes?
I don't see how that would elevate the evening.
I can't have you just chatting with the children.
Why not?
You're an adult.
Is that the problem?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Don't Jesus Christ me. I'm not the weird one here. Just put on a little makeup.
It's starting to feel like it would be just for you at this point, and that's making me uncomfortable.
Don't I'm uncomfortable me. You're not uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable.
When was the last time you talked with your son?
Excuse me?
You heard me.
I don't like your tone.
My tone is perfectly civil. I think what you don't like is the implication of my question.
I talk to my son every day.
Yeah, what's the last thing you discussed?
Discussed?
Yeah.
We discussed him getting ready for the party.
Yeah, that sounds more like a list of commands. Tell me, when you go out to get drinks with your friends, do you spend the evening telling them what to wear and how they need to behave?
This is insane.
Yeah, is it?
I need you to leave.
Fine.
Great.
Just pay me for my time.
Your time doing what?
Don't play dumb.
Excuse me?
We've been talking for 10 minutes straight.
We've been arguing.
Well, yes, we have.
Do you think I find this entertaining?
Do you think you've been winning this argument?
Yes.
Oh, you do you?
Yes.
You feel like you've really put me in my place.
I think you've been taught that your shit doesn't fly in this household. I don't know what they do over at the Johnsons, but not here, friend.
Oh, I suppose you feel pretty big.
Compared to you.
Not a bad way to spend your afternoon, huh?
I could do this all day.
Great.
What?
Well, I'm here if you want.
Excuse me?
That's what I do. I converse with people, entertain them, give them their money's worth.
I don't understand.
That's what I do, Jake.
You?
Yes, it's a custom experience. Everyone's different. How do you feel?
My heart's pounding.
Feels good, doesn't it?
Incredible.
Great.
Wow.
I told you I'm very good.
You are.
Okay, then. I'm just gonna pop back and talk to your kid now.
No, you may not.
Okay, pace yourself, Jake.
Sorry.
Today's not about you.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. It just, it would look bad if I stayed in here with you the whole time.
No, you're right.
It's a little weird.
Sure.
Unprofessional.
Of course. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mike goes through the back door. The kids outside cheer. Jake sits on the couch, beer in hand. He weeps softly. Blackout. End of excerpt. Or play. End of play.
Where'd I go?
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you, David. Thank you, Torian. And again, thank you, Aaron.
John, that was so much fun.
That was a blast. My screen kept warning me that I was muted because I was laughing so hard. Great. Thank you. Great job, everyone involved. Okay, so we'll start with popcorn moments. Anything that stood out to you, made you want to reach for the popcorn, keep going back for more? Yes, Ben.
That was very comedic. I wish there was a festival we could put this in, because this would be great on stage. I don't know. But that's work to be done.
Thank you. Did you have a specific popcorn moment, or were you saying the whole thing was a popcorn moment?
I mean, it was, well, the moment that Jake was so hesitant towards Mike, I mean, that was really comedic. I mean, it could be on stage. I don't know.
No, I completely understand what you're saying. For me, that beginning part because I've struggled with that in the past, being one of those people who's so polite, they just can't come out and say what they're thinking. And that dance he was doing in the beginning of being so passive aggressive and not wanting to just come out and say it was so fun. It was great. Anyone else? Aaron, yes.
Yeah, aside from the hilarity, I couldn't laugh because I had to be unmuted to read the stage directions. So bad, John. But I love the whole thing. The moment for me where Jake was like, "Oh, Sarah hired you." I was like, "Yep, I know this dad. I have taught this dad's kids. I 100% know this dad." And it had to be a dad. It couldn't have been a mom, at least in my experience. So perfect.
Great. Any other popcorn moments? Yes, Mandy. Then Guillermo.
I put it in the chat, but I loved him being like, "You're not uncomfortable, I'm uncomfortable." And then finding out in the end that the whole point was that he was trying to make him uncomfortable. It's such a beautiful little mind, you know what?
Yes, definitely. Guillermo. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I just want to say it was incredible from beginning to end. It was amazing. And if I had to remark one moment, probably when David goes like, "Can you put some makeup on?" Because it's so representative of all the cliches that we have in our mind. Like, clowns have to be like this, this has to be like this, that has to be like that. And it was the whole thing was incredible. It was amazing. Congratulations, guys.
Great. Yes, Carla.
One of the moments that really stuck out the whole thing was a popcorn moment for me, but one of the moments when he says, "When was the last time you talked to your son?" I thought it just really was a salient moment, like the truth of that. That's
great. Yes, David.
I love these moments, and when I read through it the first time, I was like, yes, I get to say this. Don't give me I'm uncomfortable, Jake. Just don't give me the Jake things. I love that, because that's exactly, it just fueled everything. It fueled the character. I was able to really feel that and move forward. And it was just so funny, John, very funny.
Completely agree. Mandy, you had something else?
Yeah, the whole like, you know, the outsider thing of like, oh, you do Broadway, but the idea between clown and entertainer and artist all being very different. And this guy was like, what? What's good?
I love how he was almost offended between performance and entertainer.
That was my popcorn
moment. That he took serious offense to.
Gotcha.
Okay, questions. Was there any point that you dropped out at all or were confused, wanted something further clarified? Erin?
And this just might be me because I was on Team Mike the whole time. I just didn't realize the part where Jake started winning the argument. And maybe that, again, it's because I've met Jake in person and had this conversation with Jake times. But I just didn't realize where he started to win. But everything else was brilliant. And like, I loved the fact that then Mike at the end was like, did you like it? Was it good for you? He didn't say that, but like, that was the vibe I got.
Yes, David.
I have a comment about that because I didn't necessarily think that Jake was winning the argument, but he thought he was. That was my take on that.
That was my take as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in. What's interesting for me is I interpreted it more as neither of them were winning, but that he was doing it almost like a therapeutic thing. Like when someone riles you up to let you release in a sort of therapeutic way. I thought that's the way I interpreted it. As he was like, do you feel better now that I let you get all that out? Okay. Development, I understand that this is a one act, so I'm focusing less on development for future scenes, but more on, is there anything you'd like developed in this standalone one act that you'd like to see focused on more or developed more? Mandy.
I just had questions about Mike, right? Like, where did Jake get to Mike? Was he in control all the time? So it might be more of a direction thing, but Torian just put in there it was all according to plan, and it definitely felt that way. So I was curious where maybe that give and take was, or even if it was faked, you know?
Great. All right. Sorry. And for those of you on YouTube, we also keep a chat going, and anyone who's on our Zoom, we also love to see moments in things that you think of in the moment. Please always put them in the Zoom chat. We love to share that as well with playwrights. Anything else before we move on, guys? Yes, Torian.
Yeah, I agree with Mandy that I think Mike, it does feel like he has the upper hand throughout the scene, and just those moments of the offense of like entertainer and clown. Those are like the moments where he might shift a bit, but otherwise he kind of is controlling the scene, it feels like.
Great. And Ben, did you have anything about this piece?
Well, I just loved it, you know? I mean, like I said, if we had some sort of comedy type play festival, this would go great in it, you know?
I know, Ben, it's a shame we have no comedy play festivals. New Ambassadors just doesn't do that thing. What a shame.
We could.
No, we do, Ben. My point is we do. You know we do.
I mean, I could help, like, you know, like, come on. This is
yes. Thank
we're
you,
a young
Ben.
company. We could grow. Come on.
We will continue doing comedy. Thank you, Ben. I always appreciate your enthusiasm, and I think that is a wonderful note to end on. Our very own Ben will be putting the feedback form on Zoom, and we will also have the feedback form on YouTube for anyone else who wants to add any additional feedback for John. Thank you, guys. Wow, that was great. The first one really hit hard, and what a nice little boost to follow it. Okay, thank you, everyone. Next, we have My Greatest Enemy by David Adam Gill. So, I will pass it back on to David.
Gill!
And now for something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
This is the third of the Bronte trilogy, two of which I've already written and have been produced and performed, more myself than I am, based on Wuthering Heights, and A Most Egregious Way based on Jane Eyre. So this is the one that's based on the book that nobody knows about because even though it was the most popular of the books, and the sister Anne was the most popular of the writer at her time, her sister Charlotte didn't really care for this because it went against social mores, and she was very prudish about that. She followed, her religion was her weather vane. So when poor Anne died, she decided that this would be the book that doesn't see the light of day. She refused to have it republished. So the task at hand is to allow the story to kind of be told with a twist. So my question for everyone out there is, do you follow it? Do you understand what's going on? Because there's a lot of things happening, and I just want to make sure that it's clear, because the language is that of the Victorian novel, and the characters behave that way, and we're just going to go. I have a fantastic cast. Carla Briscoe is playing Helen Huntington, who is the heroine of Lieutenant of Wildfell Hall, the novel, but she's also playing Anne Bronte. And then the wonderful Jennifer Downes, you probably remember her as Jane Eyre in A Most Egregious Way, but she is also playing Charlotte Bronte in this. And we have the fantabulous Mandy Murphy, who was in the cast of More Myself Than I Am. She's playing Catherine Earnshaw of Wuthering Heights, but she's also playing the author of that novel, Emily Bronte. And then we have Helene Gaelic, who is playing Rachel, who is the bosom friend and servant of Helen Huntington. But you'll see that she is also the prototype of of Mrs. Fairfax from Jane Eyre, of Nellie from Wuthering Heights, based on the Bronte's childhood. And then we have the exceptionally gifted John Pena Griswold, who's reading stage directions up until a point, and then he is playing Arthur Huntington, who is the oppressive husband of Helen, but also Branwell Bronte, which means I have to turn on my light so that I can read the stage directions when I come to it. All right, so without further ado, my greatest enemy. Thanks, guys.
My Greatest Enemy by David Adam Gill. The sitting room of a lady's bedroom suite. A young woman, Helen, her arm in a very pretty sling, sits at her desk in the process of writing a letter. Jane steps out of the darkness and stands looking over Helen's shoulder. Helen hesitates, sensing Jane, but decides to ignore her. Helen narrates as she writes.
My poor, dear, kind Aunt Maxwell, I do not know how to begin.
I should say not.
You and my late uncle warned me not to be so blinded by love and to marry the scoundrel whom I call my lord and master. I write to tell you not only has he forfeited all rights to be my husband through his abuse of myself, but that I will not stay one more night under his roof, though I become the most despised figure in all of England.
As you most certainly will.
Must you? I can bear his malignant presence, but for my son's sake, I will not allow little Arthur to be...
Little Arthur.
Little Arthur to be exposed to his father's licentiousness a moment longer. My mind is made up. I will take my paints and brushes and strive to earn a living by my artistic talent, such as it is.
Artistic talent, indeed.
I shall not tell you whither we go, so you can answer with absolute certainty your ignorance when Arthur presses you, as he certainly will apply to you to know what has become of me. If you choose to write me, and I do hope you will, please address any correspondence to my brother, Frederick, who will make sure it reaches me.
Making them accomplices in your crime.
Ugh, leave me alone.
Jane smirks. Helen sighs again, crumples the letter, and standing, begins to pace up and down in nervous anticipation. She checks her wristwatch.
It is time. It is time.
Helen pads quietly to the door, unlocks it, and looking out, calls quietly.
Rachel! Helen, be cautious. Though the villain, your husband, is passed out from drink, he may awaken at the sound of your voice, thereupon ruining any chance of escape yet again. Oh, Rachel, oh, where can my dear friend be?
If she had the senses of a monkey, she would abandon you to your own ruination.
Will you please go away?
I will not.
Helen sighs, looks one more time, shuts the door quickly, and is about to lock it when there's a sharp knocking.
Rachel?
'Tis I, my angel.
Helen glares at Jane, who disappears back into the shadows, then opens the door, revealing a middle-aged woman, Rachel, who has a look of terror on her face. She enters, pushes the door shut, and leans against it for support.
Oh, my lady, I tremble from every limb.
Shh.
She looks to the door.
Friend.
Rachel plops herself down in a chair, catching her breath.
How trying to the nerves.
Speak more quietly, dear friend.
How trying it is to the nerves to be sneaking around corners and bumping down hallways encumbered by all those boxes with the scoundrel, your Mr. Huntington, cock-eyed and supine in the study, an empty bottle, his sole comfort.
That tyrant, wine, it is the cause of all my sorrow.
No, it is so, but not so. Lest you forget the pleasures of the flesh are just as intoxicating a vice for that big ape. Heaven help him.
Heaven help him indeed.
First it was that dollymop, Annabella.
Rachel.
Lady Lowbrow, if you wish, though I hesitate to call that a lady, which paraded her dalliance with your husband so bold-faced as to torment you.
And yet, unaware of my enlightenment, he too would mock me with the empty husk of conjugal endearments. Oh, Arthur, that pretense was the beginning of the end of my affections toward you.
No, the so-called governess he employs, who is less a governess than I, who has never been educated and knows nothing.
How has it come to pass that a man who just recently I loved so tenderly, I presently have not even the most distant shadow of esteem for?
His sun is set. He has brought it on himself.
Oh, I hate him. The word stares me in the face like a guilty confession. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
As do I, but then, you know, I never fully warmed to the brute, though he did his best to charm me at first. Once he began the treachery of his abuse, I know not how you've borne up. I would kill the ogre in a thrice and gladly hang for it, but for the thought of parting from you and dear little one forever. Oh.
Though he be my greatest enemy, I ask no other vengeance than that he is made to see and feel his guilt.
You are too good to him, my love.
Oh, Arthur, I blush and I weep and I pray, I curse and I repent and I curse again, but I am resolved to leave you. I fear you will remain blind and numb forever, for your vices have mastered you too well.
And what of little Arthur, with all his sweetness of disposition?
Oh, my joy, my love, my life, my only consolation.
Oh, sister.
What was that?
No, nothing. I have lost my instinctive horror and repulsion, but I fear I will lose my little moralist to the influence of his father's wild caprices if he is not removed immediately.
And so you shall.
Shh.
They both look towards the door.
What of our things? Did you succeed, Rachel? Are the boxes safely transported out of this prison and gone ahead to await my arrival at Wildfell Hall?
indeed, my love, to await our arrival.
My dearest and only friend, we have discussed this. I cannot live as a lady anymore. I have little to my name and cannot afford to pay you what you are worth, which is a treasure of inconceivable value. For such is the debt
Fiddle!
I owe you.
Oh, fiddle. Where am I to go if not going with my young lady who I nursed from an infant and who I've been with all these many years, and happy too?
Helen rushes to Rachel and embraces her with violent affection.
Oh,
You are as dear to me as my own heart, my own soul.
as you are to me, my sweet child.
They embrace again.
Oh, I'm so glad that we settled that business.
As am I.
Who is...
As am I, my loyal co-conspirator.
Rachel tries to turn around to see who has spoken, but Helen forcefully walks her downstage and sits her in the chair.
Now stay where you are while I finish the few letters I have begun with more fortitude.
Helen sits down at the desk and takes up her pen.
My dear, darling Aunt Maxwell, guess what? You and Uncle were right. Arthur is a cad, and I am taking my sweet boy and leaving him. Wish me luck.
Helen shakes her head no and crumples the letter, tossing it over her shoulder. Just then, Jane, emerging from the shadows, sneaks up behind Rachel and whispers in her ear.
It's up to you, trusted friend, to prevent your mistress from making this grave mistake.
What's this? Who is this lady, and how did she get in here?
She is wrong to leave her husband. Tell her so.
Ignore this apparition. My poor understanding aunt.
Sister, you must listen to reason.
Sister, have I gone mad, or am I seeing visions? Oh, the lady's still in front of me. It must be madness.
Do you not recognize me? I am her sister, though you could call me her brother, and that would be just as apt.
Brother? You're bound to make a stuffed bird laugh.
It is true, Rachel. She is my sister, Charlotte.
Or brother, Currer, whichever you prefer.
Brother, sister? I know now for sure I am mad. I was them that weaned you and reared you from swaddling clothes, and I swear by your sainted mother, this lady, or gentleman, if she prefer, shed neither nursery nor breast.
Our nursery was in Yorkshire, and our shared breast was that of poor dear Nancy Wainwright.
You found her sad end in the Bradford workhouse, I remember.
Then you will no doubt remember also what comes of a woman who flouts convention.
Chic. If indeed it was me what raised you, I take you over my knee and give you what for.
Your opinion is not sought after, sister.
Still, I insist you hear me out. It is from a sense of feminine fellowship I come to counsel you. Tell her, Mrs. Fairfax, that I am not wrong here.
Mrs. Fairfax? You are mistaken, Spirit. I am not such a woman named other than my lady's faithful Rachel.
You have come too late to sway me from my objective.
I do admit there is something familiar to her, though I know not what. Rather plain, but not unpleasant to look at, though that not has the beauty of my lady. She certainly has a pugnacious way of communicating, but still there's a certain refinedness of character present in her that's bewitching.
Ish! Don't let her smooth veneer fool you. She comes in this fictitious form to impose her high-minded morality on our honestly portrayed tale.
A tale so glaringly harsh, so distressingly authentic. I blush with shame for you.
Again, what cheek!
You'd have me dress it in romantic costume and make it tame. That is your pen, sister, not mine. False depiction claims no laurels to my way of thinking.
I won't stand for it. Come here, you!
Rachel sits on the chair and slaps her lap with one hand, extending the pointed finger of the other towards Jane, who ignores her.
You've seen for yourself the terrible effects of talents misused and faculties abused.
The vocabulary frightens.
You speak of our brother?
If that is what you glean.
Sister, these veiled threats fall on deaf ears.
Well, let's turn our backs on the ghostly figure and count 5 score. Maybe then she'll disappear back into the very shadows that produced her.
Rachel turns her back to Jane and, closing her eyes, begins to count.
1, 2.
Give up this foolish campaign, sister. I beg of you.
I would rather shrivel up and die. Besides, the theme is already firmly embedded in my narrative.
You will gain no joy from it. On the contrary, it will haunt you like a spectre for the rest of your days, however short they may be.
Pardon?
Oh dear, 19, 20.
I've given up on joy for myself, but as for the spectre, my child deserves a better legacy than the debauchery he will inherit from his father.
Have it as you will.
I shall.
What then of your greatest crime?
You pile charges upon me as if I were the most infamous of felons.
Are you not? A woman barring her husband from her bedchamber, a husband whom she has vowed to cherish and keep, is not only a shocking crime against nature, but one against God himself.
She speaks of God, the she-devil.
I'm sure God would not want for me the kind of cherishing my beloved husband has bestowed.
Helen holds up her arm in the sling.
It is not for you to say. As modern Victorian women, our position is plain. We have no rights, no property. In short, the law is not on our side.
The law is unjust and wrong.
I repeat, it is not for you to say.
If by telling my story I can effect change, then it is very much for me to say. How many other modern Victorian women might be suffering the same terrible fate?
Suffering. You have home, security, ample food, servants, a child. You make a mockery of all those who truly do suffer.
I would gladly forgo all those comforts to have Arthur's love and companionship.
Then wait it out. Those things will surely return in time.
But he had been false one too many times. I saw with mine own eyes, heard with my own ears his preference for Annabella over his own wife, whom he vowed to cherish and keep. No, sister, from the moment I became his wife in name only, and made it from that moment I became his wife in name only, and made it clear to him I would be the mother of his child and the keeper of his house. But that was all.
Maybe then the violence was justified.
You are too hard on me, sister.
I am not.
What would you have me do?
Bear up.
Why must it be the woman always be told to bear up? I believe there are limits, boundaries that must never be crossed.
You speak of boundaries. What of his son, who is his property? You will be charged with kidnapping if you take him away from this place without permission.
Only if I am found.
And what of this place you choose to settle? Wildfell Hall? What will that community think of such a woman as you? You will be stigmatized, ostracized. You will find yourself alone and friendless.
If I stay, I find myself in the same predicament.
There you have it. Choose the lesser evil.
You would have me remain with my husband, the recipient of more violence by his hand and tongue.
The brute!
Oh, for the sake of the societal mores.
Most certainly.
89.
To be left unmolested will be the chief attraction of my solitude. I'm fully aware of the weight of my decision and accept responsibility for the mistakes I've made that led me to this juncture.
Yet you've conveniently written a love interest into that community of strangers. Maybe the desire to be left unmolested in Wildfell Hall doesn't include the entire population of that rural seaside town?
Mr. Markham's presence is used as a literary device to enable the mystery of the narrative and a catalyst for revealing my history.
Still,
100.
I urge you to reconsider and remain with your husband. Forgive and forget is surely the best tenet. It is the Christian thing to do.
A wild roaring wind is heard. The lights extinguish.
Ah, success! Stay where you are, my love. I will relight the candles.
Rachel does so. When the room is lit again, Catherine appears in the center of the room.
Forgive and forget.
Oh, fiddle. Here's another.
Until the next brutality, at least, sister? Give me some time alone with the cock and I'll bring him back a much different bird, I assure you.
Sister.
This one she calls sister too? I am confounded.
Pay no heed to her, dear Anne. I've never let a man force his will upon me unless it was my own will as well. Follow my example. Tell her, Nellie, she will listen to your sound advice over mine.
Oh, this is too much. She calls my Helen by the name of Anne and myself by the name of Nellie. Oh, good heavens. I am off to revive the master. Maybe in this upside-down dream world, he will behave more like Prince Charming, who rescues the fair maiden, than the dragon who devours her.
Rachel flees the room.
If you've accepted that man as your lord and master, hasn't he every right?
You, Jane Eyre. You ran away, why not she?
I was not yet married.
Barely.
I took pains to make sure my readers would look kindly on me. I too have lived a difficult life, but I have nothing to reproach myself for.
By all that is sacred, nor have I.
Let us pass your chronicle, shall we? Jane Eyre, a tragic yet genteel story involving a plain yet intelligent young girl trodden upon and overlooked from childhood, who falls for an old gentleman well above her station, who in turn becomes enchanted by and who then guides our trodden upon and overlooked plain girl into womanhood through his encouragement and protection. But wait, that's the plot of the Professor. Yet to all your novels, mired in a father complex, are we?
Must you debase my tasteful and refined story of love with your perverted psychological analysis?
Well, there's that word again. Oh, it vexes me.
Refined.
Refined! Unlike the wild thing born of your imagination, mired in a brother complex, are we?
What do you mean? Speak plainly.
Do not deny that your beloved Heathcliff is fashioned after our own depraved and rakish brother?
My Heathcliff?
Yes.
That is absurd!
Obscure it with as much Gothic artifice as you like. The spirit of our beloved Bramwell embodies that wild animal you created.
Anne's Mr. Huntington is much more the prototype of our poor brother than my Heathcliff.
That is so. I fashioned poor Arthur's decline after Branwell's abandonment to his depravity. It was my intention to use him as a lesson to all men who tempt fate in this unwholesome way.
And thus the flame of indignation ignites.
And through this characterization, you expose our brother's shortcomings to the world, leaving his intimate history open to the unwitting judgment of your readers, strangers.
I hold a looking glass up to society and show its truth, no matter how ugly or depraved. It inflames my soul, the misdeeds done in the name of God and good.
Your tale benefits neither God nor good.
You are wrong. Through it, I gave my Mr. Huntington and thus Branwell an opportunity for redemption, though you choose not to see it.
It is appalling to me, and much too painful a memory to contemplate.
Right to feel that way. It was Emily and I, yes, we alone, who stood by our brother at the end of his life, while you scorned him, harshly reminding him that his bodily deterioration was a just reward for his digressions.
Don't let her faux outrages fool you, sister. It is not your portrayal of our brother, nor her almost fanatical adherence to the laws of morality that are eating away at her, nor is it the distress at the effort of your personal well-being that these so-called unseemly topics would bring on.
I have always striven to ease the burden of life on Anne's natural frailty. This unflinching portrait is bound to affect her mind and body, for she was never strong like you or me.
She is neither timid nor the fragile, sickly girl you make her out to be. How could such a work as this come from anyone so described? No, you are jealous.
Jealous of what?
Our popularity. From the first, when your book, The Professor, was rejected, and ours were not.
But mine was printed first, while yours sat collecting dust on Mr. Newby's desk. It was because of the popularity of my Jane that your Catherine and your Agnes finally made it to sit on the shelf of a bookseller's shop.
It is nothing to the phenomenal success of your timid younger sister. I quote, "The slamming of Helen Huntington's bedroom door against her husband's reverberated throughout Victorian England." When has anything you've ever written reverberated thusly? Outside the Women's Temperance Society.
It is true, dear Charlotte. My tenant of Wildfell Hall sold out within 6 weeks.
I say shock value and grotesque portrayals of domestic life are a cheap gimmick to sell books.
And what of you? You write through a filter which distorts reality into inconsequential romanticism, giving your heroine traits you do not possess, yet look down upon when lacked in others.
Admit it, sister. You'd have rather been a great beauty with ample charm to recommend her than the professor of a great vocabulary, which only goes so far in securing the affection of a handsome man. Maybe then you would have landed your Professor Constantin.
She plainly uses the conceit in her novels, though she has not the bravery to seek it in life.
And what of my Wuthering Heights?
A Gothic horror story more worthy of a Shelley than a Bronte.
Though you mean it as a slight, I take delight in the comparison.
Dear reader, I have the upper hand in this debate. Time is on my side, as they will both be in their graves soon enough. It is then I shall endeavour to bury them into obscurity.
Pardon?
What do you mean?
You heard that?
Yes.
Oh, fiddle. Nothing. Never mind.
The women rush at Jane, who screams and cowers behind the chair. Just then, Rachel enters dragging a drunken Arthur Huntington after her. He clutches the neck of a bottle of wine.
Here, sir, the sirens I thusly described.
Blast it, not these three.
Sirens, indeed.
The plain one there is particularly vile.
What's this, sisters? Banished from Verdopolis yet again as the three of you plot against me? I am wounded to my soul. Woe is me.
Arthur takes a long swig from his bottle of wine.
Dear, my one true companion, my one steady mistress who will never forsake me, I suckle at your ample teat to fortify my soul against the injustice of my predicament.
Arthur takes another long swig, then collapses to the floor.
Cursed spirit wine.
Disgusting. If father was still alive, this would surely kill him.
Go jump off a moor.
Catherine pulls Arthur close, coddling him.
Leave him alone, you bully.
She then turns her anger on him, continually slapping him in the head.
How dare you? What of the solemn promise you made to the curb this cursed thirst of yours and lead to an honest, productive life? Does your word mean nothing at all to you?
Ouch! Quit it!
My disappointment knows no bounds. Ugh. I understand now, sister, the grave humiliation you must have suffered at receiving Mr. Newby's rejection letter for the professor, while mine and Anne's novels were accepted for publication. How did you ever bear up?
Jane fumes. She moves angrily towards Catherine, then changes her mind and approaches the front of the stage, addressing the audience.
Dear reader.
Catherine rushes to step in front of Jane.
Oh, no, you don't. They are my readers.
Helen rushes to step in front of both sisters.
No, they are mine. This is my narrative. You both already had your turn.
Dear reader.
The two women begin pushing each other out of the way.
Dear reader.
Dear reader.
Dear reader.
Dear reader.
Anne tries to... Go ahead, sorry.
My dear Aunt Maxwell. Oh.
Beat. Suddenly, Arthur starts to laugh quietly first, then more loudly and maniacally.
You three devils would just as soon devour each other as to achieve the upper hand. You are no better than I. No, I am the better Bronte. My vices are private, and the damage I inflict is upon my own person, whilst you three strive to inflict injury on one another. Such is the superiority of men over the weaker, subservient sex.
The three women look at one another with a sly grin, then out to the audience defiantly.
Dear reader.
To be continued. Oh my God. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Great job, David. Great job, Carla, Jennifer, Helene, Mandy, and John for the double duty of stage directions and Drunk Arthur. Thank you all so much. We went a little over time, but I'm going to put 5 minutes on. I just want to remind you guys that one of the things David asked to look out for is obviously, are the relationships clear? People who aren't necessarily very familiar with the Brontes, do you still understand and follow what's going on? Is the language clear because it is heightened? So since we only have 5 minutes, we'll start with that, and then we'll try to get into popcorn moments. Anyone? Jen.
I think I have an unfair advantage here, but I do think that I really do follow it. I think the one moment where it falls out just slightly for me in these pages is with Rachel and her not being willing to move between the three, but the other two existing in the same space. I'm just curious about the rules of her consciousness and kind of, I'm just, that's because I feel like there's maybe an opportunity to split personality. That's not necessary, but it was the one moment where I was a little confused about the rules of the world.
Okay.
Say a quick thing. Compared to the last time I heard this, it's much clearer to me. And I'm not very familiar with Helen or Anne Bronte's story, but it's still, the way it jumped in this time, I was able to follow very easily. And I love that, this is more a popcorn moment, but I love that the sisters devolved from sort of highbrow intellectual arguments into just full-on catty sister fight. I think it's very fun, and it really just heightens, or it showcases their relationship and the family element very well. Okay. Anybody else? Mandy, then John.
I have two things. One in terms of questions and maybe confusion, but I think it really is about the three of them together, specifically when like the moments are chosen for the self-awareness of like Jane being Charlotte and Kathy being Emily and that kind of stuff, really like seeing the echoes of that in the former pieces, because it does seem to just be an accepted rule in this one that I don't remember from the other ones. And my second one was, I love the ending, because I can just see your love, and I'm sure other people's loves for the three sisters, and people are fascinated by the drama of their story, but also the fact that they love all of them so much, and you can just feel all of the love for them in the last moment. And it's, I love the choice.
Thank you.
John?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the language. I thought the language was very clear. I thought in typical Gill fashion, both heightened but very clear and character driven, so sharp. Yeah, and just popcorn moment I'm going to sneak in is Rachel counting in the background. I can just imagine that going on the entire time, and I think that's freaking hilarious.
I have another question. Do you and this might be stupid, and I apologize. Do you understand that Jane is trying to get Helen to rewrite her book? Okay.
I know that. Yeah.
I mean, she's trying to get her to change it. Yeah. All right.
The part of her leaving, right?
Change all the moral
Yeah.
digressions that you feel strong. Yes.
I guess the one thing, is this the beginning of this piece?
This is the beginning of this piece, yeah.
Yeah. I think the one thing for me that where it feels more like these two are living in this world together rather than a true interruption, let me fix this, is kind of the acceptance of Jane's presence from the very top, that Helen is just kind of like, yes, you're there. Would just stop. It just feels like it's been going on for a while, which makes it feel less urgent, less like she's coming in to try and divert an emergency.
Okay. No, that's actually really great, because the last time, as you remember, she came in later. So I tried to I tried to make it more active from the beginning, a little bit more interesting, but that does make a lot of sense. Thank you.
I'm going to say something really quick, and then I'm going to go to Mandy really quick. Just one other popcorn moment. I love that it felt like the knife was getting deeper every single time they used the word plane. And this was also because your actors were so great, but just the emphasis they all played on it each time. Each time it was added, Jane's reaction, it just cut deeper. It was very fun. Okay, Mandy.
I think I'm going to offer something new to what Jen said as well, but if I do repeat her completely, I'm sorry. But we have similar thoughts. But yeah, at the top, especially because it's the less known of them, right? I wonder, in your beautiful David, Gill way, to like make that the funny thing where it feels like her story does get to stand alone, and then obviously what Jen said, right? Like, what about that story? If there were another character, I know that would be kind of but I don't know if Rachel came in first or something like that.
Okay, yeah, that again, this was like option 2 trying. So I can kind of do a mashup. That makes it a lot of sense. The urgency kind of is missing.
And to give Anne her moment, right? Anne gets her moment.
Anne gets her moment.
Right. No,
okay.
that's really, really good feedback. Thank you.
Great. Last minute. Anybody else?
I guess I'll talk.
Yes, Ben, anything about that David asked for, a popcorn moment? Any specific question or thought?
Well, it sort of reminded me of watching A Most Egregious Way. That heart broke. Hopefully we get it on stage. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yes, Ben, you're right. The character that Jennifer played in Most Egregious Way was the same character in this piece.
Yes, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And like I enjoyed it. Like, oh my God.
No,
I'm sorry. I just saw John's.
I just just can't wait until we're back together. That's all I'm gonna say.
Me
Period.
too,
Yeah.
Ben. And I'm so glad that was a great comment. It's great to know that it was clear and that you picked up exactly where we went from the last piece to this one. It's very helpful. Thank you. Thank you all. If you have any other feedback for David, please, please, please use the Google form. Ben will share it on Zoom. Maile will share it on YouTube. Yes, please share feedback. Thank you all. This is bringing us to the end of the night. Thank you for
I'm opening up the bar afterwards.
and bearing with all of us. A quick few notes. We have Blurring Boundaries coming up. We are actually deciding on plays this weekend. Very exciting times. It will be coming in June. It will be streamed, but it will be performed live in a theater and then streamed for all of you to view at home. We are very excited about it. Yes, Jen.
Just real quickly, to any actors here or any actors watching on YouTube, you can still sign up to join us as an actor for that festival. So the form, I believe, was in our last newsletter, and it should be on our Facebook and our Instagram as well as on the website. So sign up and join us.
Yes, thank you so much. And that brings me to my next point, that for any and all information to ambassadors, including signing up to act in our next lab or participate in our festival, sign up for our newsletter. Ben, again, will share the newsletter link to subscribe on Zoom, and we will share it on YouTube. Please, please follow us. It's where we share everything new going on. You can also check our website for all of this information. Our website is also where you can donate. And as another reminder, donations are, it is a nonprofit, so donations are all tax deductible. We greatly appreciate it. You will be helping us get firm footing and back into the world of live theater, hopefully at the end of this year. We'd appreciate anything you could spare.
Don't worry about it. We'll get back to the live theater.
Yes, we will. And
I have full confidence. I have full confidence.
Thank you, Ben. Me too. I really do.
I have full confidence.
It's exciting times we are in. I hope you all join us for our next lab. It is Friday, June 4th. It's going to be hosted by David Michael Kirby. Playwrights are going to include Perrin Pamato, Devin Alex Sumner, and another playwright, which I do not have yet. Again, we will put the acting doodle. Ben will put the acting doodle in Zoom. We will put it on YouTube if you want to sign up to act. It will also be on our newsletter, which David, Adam, Gill, and I put together, and we put a lot of hard work into it. So we'd love for you to subscribe and follow. Yes, thank you all for joining me in Lab 39. It was a blast. I hope you all had a wonderful time. What great work. Thank you again, playwrights. Thank you again, actors. Thank you again, John and Aaron, for doing such a great job with stage directions. Thank you, Ben, for your help on Zoom. Thank you, Maile, for YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
And thank you, Maile, for hosting such a great lab.
Yeah, Maile!
Woo!
Yeah, Maile!
All right, let's all just say goodbye as we go off air.
Bye, YouTube.